President Biden, meanwhile, is taking steps to keep China from undercutting U.S. companies. The administration's hiking tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, semiconductors, batteries, solar cells, steel, and aluminum. And in an interview with Yahoo Finance today, the president was asked what he thinks China might do to respond.
What they'll do, I don't think it'll lead to any international conflict or anything like that. But I think they'll probably try to figure out how they can raise tariffs maybe on products that are unrelated.
Nancy Cortez is CBS News chief White House correspondent and joins us from the North Lawn. So, Nancy, what are the economic and political reasons for doing this?
Well, let's take economic first, Ed. So the Biden administration argues that they have been watching China basically flaunt the rules for years now. That what China does is it floods certain companies with money and enables those Chinese companies in turn to lower their prices and flood the world with goods that are so cheap that other companies, U.S. companies, European companies, simply can't compete. And they've been warning China for a long time not to do this, to knock it off, and it's basically been met with deaf ears. That's in addition to cyber attacks and cyber theft and all the other things that the U.S. government has accused China of doing. And so essentially what the president is doing today is saying, OK, well, if you're going to artificially lower your prices, guess what? We are going to slap massive tariffs on your goods, basically making it more expensive for Chinese companies to sell goods to the U.S. Now, politically, this is a major about-face for this president who, as you pointed out, criticized President Trump for doing something similar, not exactly the same, back when he was president. He said it would spark a trade war, but now he is embracing these tariffs, partly because it is an election year and big manufacturing states like Pennsylvania, like Wisconsin, like Michigan are states that typically tend to appreciate moves like this. Even if it doesn't mean that there's some huge rush of new manufacturing jobs in those states as a result, it is seen as standing up for U.S. manufacturing, and that was what President Biden said he was doing today.
And so bottom line then, that's the economics, that's the politics of it. What does it mean for the average American consumer?
That's a great question. It depends on how China responds. If China, for example, raises its prices to make up for these increased tariffs, it could mean that American consumers pay more for goods than they did before. I asked the U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai about that today. Take a look at what she had to say. When Trump hiked tariffs on Chinese goods, it led to some increased prices for U.S. customers. How can you be sure the same thing won't happen again?
First of all, I think that link in terms of tariffs to prices has been largely debunked. What I would say is that what the president has instructed that we do is to focus on making our supply chains more resilient.
So that was really interesting. Basically, the criticism from a lot of Democrats and candidate Biden for a long time was that Trump's moves to basically slap tariffs across the board on Chinese goods was going to lead to increased prices for Americans. And what the U.S. Trade Representative is now saying is that that really didn't end up being the case, and that that's part of the reason they were comfortable going the route that they did today.
And, you know, it's about $18 billion of Chinese goods that are getting the tariffs will apply to. Beyond that, this is far more expansive than what Trump ever did, right?
Well, what Trump did was impose tariffs across the board, not as high as the ones that we saw today. EVs, for example, going from a 25% tariff to a 100% tariff. These tariffs were targeted on about $18 billion worth of goods. The Trump tariffs were not as large, but they were slapped on $300 billion worth of goods. So across the board, and actually what Trump is threatening to do if he wins re-election is to impose across the board tariffs, 10% tariffs, not just on Chinese goods, but on all goods coming into the U.S. So you're seeing two very different approaches from these two presidents. One that wants to impose these broad tariffs across the board that he says will help the American consumer and one who is looking at these more targeted tariffs in key industries.
All right. Well, we will see how it all plays out and whether it indeed does what the White House is hoping it does, which is win over skeptics concerned he's not doing enough to boost the American economy. We'll see. 174 days to go until Election Day. Nancy Cortez at the White House, thank you so much.